All right. So, Norma, the last time that we talked, it was a totally different conversation that we had. And I actually stopped our conversation so that we could record this and so that I can give this feedback to the team and others. Right.
Right. Yes.
So, the very first time I met you, you were drowning in work, you had COVID, you had to be gone for an extended period of time.
Right.
Everything almost fell apart. You
Mm-hmm.
had moved to California,
Mm-hmm.
and all that you wanted to do was have some time at the beach, more time with your kid, right?
Right.
Is it
Exactly.
okay? And this was in August. You were scrambling to try to figure everything out and zero time, like literally on the verge of burnout. The last
Exactly.
call.
Yes.
Then you joined Legal Funnel. You weren't able to really take the time to implement because you were doing too many things, being busy, busy, busy.
Right.
And then we had kind of an intervention and we got you back on track, right?
Uh-huh. Right.
Now, what I want to hear is what things have happened since that moment.
So I'm just so happy to announce, Kalinda, that since I've implemented a lot of the changes in the past week, just within the past week, I've been able to spend more time with my daughter in 1 week than I have all year. Like I just can't believe it. It's phenomenal because I just can't believe that in 1 week I have spent more time with my daughter than I have in an entire year. It's just unbelievable. And now I just can't picture going back, to the old way of how I was doing things. And I just can't believe that I was spending that very little time with her. So
And
it's amazing.
so no, it's incredible. Like that
Right.
is literally the reason
Right.
I am here,
Oh,
Norma,
yeah.
for sure.
And I've also, one of the things that I really wanted to do was spend a lot of time doing the things that I love to do, which is self-help, read books, and I love to go on hikes and walks. And in the past week, I've also I was able to take a walk for, I think it was 35 miles for last week. So I was able not only to spend the most amount of time with my daughter in 1 week than the whole year, but I also was able to spend the most amount of time with myself doing what I love. And I just can't believe that I managed to fill in enough time to take walks for up to 35 miles in just 1 week. Like that's incredible.
And
And that's how I spend my days. I literally wake up every day and just think, what do I want to do today? Okay, well, today I'm going to do this. So now I'm able to do the things that I want to do, not because I have to. Like I can just pick and choose what I want to do. And that's just so different than the way things were before.
and is work still getting done while you're doing what you want to do?
A work is still getting done. Now, I will say this, it's not perfect, right? Like, of course,
In a
there
week.
are a lot of things that I'd have done different, but things are not falling apart the way that I thought that they would. So I think it's more so like just getting rid of that mentality or that mindset that you're the only one that can get things done, because things can still get done and accomplished, but it doesn't have to be you that gets those things done, and it doesn't have to be perfect. My team is growing. I just hired my first executive assistant, which I feel like I've just cloned myself. It's so liberating because now when I get something on my desk that I really don't want to do, I just hand it off to her and I can go on my walk. So I'm about to go on a walk after our call. I couldn't
Beautiful.
delegate it to her, unfortunately.
No.
But anything that I can delegate to her, I do.
So one of the most important things about that is what I think I spend a lot of time on a lot of calls, Norma, and I think that the one thing that people miss is it's one thing to be busy being busy, which is where you were at the last time,
Mhm.
right? But you can buy a lot of things. The one thing that you can't buy is your health. And I love to hear that you're spending time going for walks, filling your heart with the things that count because you can't buy back time with your daughter either. This is
Exactly.
it, right?
Yeah.
And can you tell me that story one more time about what happened on impulse and you were able to create memories in that moment either? Because I have chills. I think that's awesome.
What happened on impulse? Which part?
Your brother.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so my brother lives in Spain. I live in Southern California. And my brother calls me one day, and he knows that I've been working on this virtual law firm, but he's free. He doesn't care, like he's retired at a very early age. So he calls me up one day and he says, "Hey, I'm at the airport. Come pick me up." And I said, "Well, what airport? What are you talking about?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm in LAX. Come and get me." And I'm like, "Okay, when? Like tomorrow?" And he's like, "No, I'm here right now." So I'm like I was already scrambling, trying to get as much work done as possible. And I thought, oh my gosh. And my brother owns a wealth mindset like
Beautiful.
educational school. So he believes in mindset very much. And he's always telling me, "Norma, you have to free yourself. It's all in your mind." And I thought, if I tell him that I have to work, he's going to kill me. I can't do that. I have to go get him, because if he finds out that I'm still tied to my work, he's going to be really disappointed in me because I'm one of his students. So then I thought, okay, I have to go get him. So I dropped everything I was doing. Granted, I already had virtual assistants in place, but I still continue to do the things that I think I have to do, so I still like was controlling and really like overseeing everything, even though I didn't have to. So at this point I had to make a decision that that's it, I'm done. I have to disconnect from this law firm, and I have to trust that the people that I've hired to handle things are capable of handling those things, and I have to let go. And at that point, I made a decision. I just made a decision. And I think now I'm realizing that that's what it was. I wanted to do this. I wanted to free myself from the law firm, but I hadn't truly made the decision that I was going to do it. So at that point, I made the decision. I went to go get him. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how long is he going to stay? Like, is he going to stay for a day or two? Or is he going to stay longer? And I thought, oh, I feel so guilty for wanting him to leave right away because I really wanted to get back to work. Well, he stayed for a week. So he stayed 7 days. The funny thing is that the day that he called and said, "Come and get me, I'm at the airport," was the same day that my new manager had just started. So I had just hired a virtual manager to handle the virtual team and oversee them. He just started that day. So I thought, this is it. This is it. I have to disconnect and let him do his job. And that's what I did. And so that was about 2 weeks ago. And after my brother left, I continued, the pattern of just not being so controlling, not trying to control everything, and allowing things not to be perfect, but still continuing to work on them. They don't have to be perfect, or I just feel like everything has to be done by me, because if it's not the way that it should be done. But it's okay for things not to be perfect. So I'm still struggling with that. It's a process. Yeah.
And thanks for sharing that with me. And the miracle in all of this is it's only been a few weeks. It can't be perfect in a few weeks, right? The automation isn't in place, which is how you duplicate yourself, right?
Right.
And so but now you have time to duplicate yourself because you've delegated the stuff, and good enough is good enough. This is a journey. It is not a destination, right?
Right.
So as you see the things that aren't done the way that you want them to, it's easy to tweak until it gets to the way that you want it to. But you have to start somewhere. And thank goodness for your brother that showed up, that forced the hand, right? I mean, it takes that, because And I love that you were on the hook because it was do this or you're going to disappoint them, right?
I do feel like my brother saved my life. Like I feel like
Yeah,
that call saved my life, you know,
it
because
did.
I feel like if I wasn't forced to do this, I don't know if it's just the like a routine of it all. Like you're just habitual, like you're just so used to doing things a certain way and you can't disconnect. Well, at least I can't, but I'm still working on it. I'm trying. I had stopped going to church for a long time. I think it's been months that I haven't been to church, at least consistently. And I went to church again for the first time on Sunday. And that was incredible because it's been such a long time that I felt like, okay, I need to connect back with the Lord. I need to go back to church. I know what I have to do. I just can't drive myself to do it. So I'm finally doing the things that I said I wanted to do when I was freed or when I got my freedom back.
Oh man, I love that, Norma. Good job. Super proud of you.
Thanks.
Keep rocking it.